Hello and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you a very quick way to solve the 3x3 Rubik's Cube, which I definitely recommend to beginners or those that have not yet gotten their first solve. And if you practice this enough or memorize the algorithms that I'm going to show, you should be well on your way to solving this in less than a minute. So I'm very excited to be here making this video here for you, and without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing that you have to note is the placement of the colors on the cube. So how I remember this is if I have white as my top and here we see red, then blue is to the right of red, opposite red is orange, and opposite blue is green, and opposite white is yellow. So it's important to know how the cube looks like when it is solved. Else, I mean, if the cube is scattered, how would you know what you're aiming towards solving? So it's kind of impossible. And the next thing to note is that the cube has three types of pieces. So the first type of piece is the center piece. So you can see white, orange, green, red, blue, and yellow. So we have one center piece per face. And the second type of piece is the middle piece. So we have, here is the middle piece, white and red. We also have white and blue, white and orange, orange and blue. So there are other middle pieces that are scattered around the cube. And then the next type of piece is the edge piece. So you have 8 edge pieces on the cube. So here you can see one. Edge pieces usually have 3 colors. So here you can see white, blue and orange, white, red and blue, white, green and red, and basically you get the point. So the next thing that you have to know is that there is a cube notation. So this is a series of symbols and letters that represent or describe different moves on the cube. So here I'll take, for example, the move U. So U means that you have to move the upper face 90 degrees in the clockwise direction. And for example, we also have R. So R means you'll be moving the right face 90 degrees in the clockwise direction. And we also have R inverse, meaning that you're going to move the right face in the counterclockwise direction. And in this example, I'll also show you U inverse, so that means you're going to move the upper face in the counterclockwise direction. So if you hear me say U prime or R prime, it's the same thing as saying U inverse or R inverse, so they pretty much mean the same thing, so don't get confused by that. And we also have other types of moves, like for example this move, which is M. So this means you're moving that middle slice in that direction, and then M inverse, so moving it back. And we also have rotation moves like Y, to mean that you have to move the cube, move the whole cube clockwise about the Y-axis. And X, for example, means that you have to move the whole cube about the X-axis 90 degrees, and X prime would mean you have to move the whole cube counterclockwise about the X-axis. And those are pretty much the moves that I'm going to use in this video, and I'm going to use in subsequent videos as well to show you how to solve the cube. So now that you know that, it's also important to know that these moves make up algorithms. So algorithms are just sequences of steps that, if followed, we can move pieces from one location to another. And obviously if you make a mistake in the middle of the algorithm, you're not going to get to the destination that you're trying to get to. So it's very important to pay attention to each move that is in that algorithm. And if you're successful, you should be able to move the piece from one location to any other specified location that that algorithm is meant to move it to. Alright, so we're going to be solving the cube layer by layer. So we're going to solve the first layer first, and then after that we will add the second layer, and then we'll flip the cube, and then we'll solve the last layer. So we're going to start from the first layer, and to do that you have to learn how to make a cross, how to form a cross on the top layer. So in this case I'm using white as my top layer, so I'm going to show you how a cross looks like. Okay, so this is a complete cross. So not only do you have to form a cross on the top face, you also have to make sure that the sides of the cross align with the middle, with the center piece here. So here you can see blue matches with blue, orange matches with orange, green matches with green, red matches with red. I'll show an example of a cross that's not fully aligned. Okay, so this is an example of a cross. So yes, we have the cross formed on the top layer, but then on the sides you can see it doesn't align with the center pieces here on the side. So you can see red and orange, that doesn't match here, doesn't match here, doesn't match here. So I'll pretty much just show you how to solve the cross, or how to form the cross. And first of all, I'll just scatter the cube. Okay, so now you have identified that you're going to use white as the center here, as your top. So you've identified that you're going to use white as your top. Then you're going to search for the other middle pieces that form the cross. So in this case, you're looking for any middle piece that has white on it, because, like for example here, you should have the middle piece white and green, you should have the middle piece white and red, middle piece white and blue, and middle piece white and orange. So you're just going to scan the cube and see if you can find one of them. I can already see one here. Actually, on this frame you can already see 3 of them. So there's one here, there's one here, and there's also one here, but I'm going to start from this one. And there's a simple way to add this piece to the center here, and how you do that is pretty much just to bring the white side of that piece to the bottom layer. So we want to bring it this way, so we want to turn the cube that way and bring the white side of that to the bottom layer. And then now that it's there, we're just going to relocate it to where it matches. So here you can see the top is white, so we're going to relocate it underneath here to where it matches. So it's going to match blue on blue, and then we're just going to bring that up. Okay, so we have the first side solved. So let's look for the second one. So you just scan around the cube. I can already see there's a second one here, and in this case we would just follow the same logic. We're just going to try and bring this down somewhere here. So we're going to bring the white side of the piece down to the bottom layer. But since we've already solved this side, we have to be mindful that we don't completely scatter what we have done. So we're just going to be mindful of where all the pieces are moving as we move along. So in this case, to bring it down, we have to do this. We have to move that face this way, and we can relocate it, because obviously we bring it back here to fix what we already fixed before, we're not achieving anything. So if you bring it down here, you have to find a way to relocate this piece to where it's supposed to fit. So you just move it this way. You see that it actually fits here with orange, but we cannot bring this up now, because if we bring this up, it's going to completely scatter what we already fixed here with the blue. So now that we've relocated it here, it actually makes sense to return this back, and then we can now bring this up. Okay, so now we have 2 pieces added to the center piece here, so remaining 2 other pieces to form the complete cross. And we're just going to scan the cube again. Okay, here we can see there is another one with white and red. So this is actually in a weird position, but don't worry about that. We're going to find a way to bring this white side to the bottom layer, and to the bottom face. And how we can do that in this case is just by first checking what we have already solved, and then based on that we'll see what range of motion we're allowed to make. without obviously scattering what we have already solved. So here you can see we have solved this side, we have solved this part of the cross, and based on what I can see here, we can actually move this face and also this face and also this face without destroying what we've already done. So we just had to develop a strategy to bring this white side down to the bottom face. And the way I'm going to suggest in this video would be first to use one of these allowed range of motion to push that piece. So we're going to push it this way to the side, and first we'll check if it aligns. If it aligns here, obviously there's no need to bring it down here and then return it back up. So from here we can just push it up here, and then we can fix that side of the cross. Now if you actually notice something, if you were keeping track of all the other pieces around that you can see, like this one, if we actually did what I recommended not to do, so if we actually brought that down here, we would have actually fixed this side because it aligns, and then you can easily bring that up and then push that up as well, so you get 2 for the price of 1. So now we have the cross formed. I think in general, don't be too concerned about scattering what you've already solved, because sometimes that gives you avenues to move pieces around slightly so that you can relocate them to where you actually need them to be solved. So there's no hard and fast rule that says that you don't have to scatter what you already solved. And another thing that I would suggest is try your best to bring that white face down, because once it's down, if it doesn't match, like if colors don't match here, you can always relocate it somewhere else where it matches, and then obviously like you can bring that up and then move on to the next piece. So like this, you can solve them one by one until you form the cross. And after you form the cross, we're going to move on to the edges. And solving the edges is simple. We're just going to scan the cube for pieces, for edge pieces. In this case, we're looking for the edge piece that has, any edge piece that has white as one of the sides. So here you can see one of them, but I'm going to ignore that one for now, and then I'll look for another one. Okay, so search down. Okay, so I can see another one here, right underneath that one. So the reason why I ignored this one is because I want to first see the ones I can solve that are already down here. And then if I don't see any ones that are down, then I'll solve the ones that are up. So that way I don't have to bring the one that's up down first before I can solve it. So the way that I solve this is pretty much, we'll find the position that this belongs to. In this case, it's already correctly fitted here. So this is the white, blue, and orange piece. So that actually fits exactly here. So it's going to be white, orange, and blue. So I know that's exactly the piece that we need. And we'll just check one thing. So we want to see if this color here is white. In this case, we see that the color is not white, it is blue. So that tells me that that piece is not correctly positioned. So it's not positioned correctly to fit in the situation that the algorithm I'm going to show you is going to work. So I need to perform another algorithm to change the position of the cube, make sure that at least we have white showing on this face, so white showing on this side of the piece, and then we can now use a different algorithm to push this piece up to where it's supposed to belong. So the algorithm is this. It is right inverse, down twice, right, down. So here you can see the same piece, but in this case it's blue, white, and orange here. So it's aligned here, so it matches, blue matches blue, just like how we had with the cross, blue matches blue. So blue matches blue here, and we also see white here. So now we can use a different algorithm to push this piece up here. So that's going to be right inverse, down inverse right. Okay, so now that that's fixed, we're now going to move to the next one. Okay, so we're just going to scan the cube. So here we can already see this is the next one that we that I was able to find, and we're going to search for where that piece belongs to. So this is white, green, and red. So let's search the cube. So yeah, it belongs here. So it's supposed to be white, green, and red. So the first thing we're going to do is just to relocate the piece from where it is now to this spot where it actually belongs. So below the spot that it belongs. And then we'll now see, based on how the cube is positioned, we might need to use a different algorithm to put white to the side, or we can just use the other algorithm that I just showed you right now to push the piece up. Okay, so to relocate this is just simple, just slide it through. And here you can see white is underneath again. So we need to somehow make this white to be on this right face. And how we do this is by doing right inverse, down twice, right, down. So here we can see that the green matches green. White is to the right here. So the right is to the right of this piece. And then we now use the second algorithm, which is right inverse, down inverse, right. So now you can see we have fixed this piece. We have also fixed this piece. So we're going to move on to the next piece. Okay, so we're just going to search. Okay, so this is the next piece. So we check the colors on that piece. So it's going to be white, green, and orange. And we're going to search for where that piece belongs to. So we just search and we can see, yes, it belongs here. So white, orange, and green. So first thing to do is just relocate it to where it's supposed to be. So like here. And then we'll check, is white to the right? White is not to the right of this piece. So we have to use that algorithm, right inverse, down twice, right, down, and make sure that it aligns. So in this case, you can see it aligns orange on orange, and white is to the right. So we just perform that second algorithm, right inverse, down inverse, right. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next piece, and we can already see here that this is the last edge piece. And here you can see there's only one spot that's left. So we'll just relocate the piece to that spot. In this case, we can look at the cube this way or this way. And let's first take, for example, looking at the cube this way. So we see that instead of white being underneath, white is to the left of that piece. So what does that tell you? That tells me that, or that tells you that you need to use another algorithm to make this white move to the right, so you can use the other algorithm to fix it. But there's an easier way, and that way is just to consider this piece, because if you look at it from this view, you can see that white is to the left. So why don't we just use a different algorithm? And you already see it matches blue and blue, so you just use a different algorithm to move it directly from here to the top. So there is an algorithm like that. So that's going to be left, down, and left inverse. So that completely brings it to where we need it to be. So instead of doing, like, you know, in that other case, trying to use an algorithm to move this to the right, and then you now fix it using right inverse, down inverse, right. In this case, you just turn the cube this way, white is showing to the left, and then use a different algorithm to move the piece up. Now, those are the only two situations that you really need to learn. Either white is to the left, or in this case, white is to the right. And one situation where white is underneath. So white is my top color, so that's why I'm using white. That's why I'm saying white. If your top color was blue or any other color, then you can use, then you're going to be searching for that top color. But in this case, I already presume that you're following me using white as your top color, so I am saying white. Now there's one more scenario that I haven't shown yet, and that's if you can see the edge piece, or if you find the edge piece at the top layer. So in this case, so in the last case, I chose to ignore it, but in this case, we want to actually push this down first. You can perform this algorithm. So it's going to be right inverse, down inverse, right, down. So you see the piece has been moved down here, and here we just solve it like with the other algorithms that I've shown you. So we see white is underneath and we want white to be here, so we're just going to perform right inverse, down twice, right, down. So here you can see white is here and red aligns with red. So now we're just going to perform the second algorithm, right inverse, down inverse, right. Okay, so now we've solved the first layer, and in the next video I'll show you how to proceed to the second layer and eventually to the last layer.